Hello guys, this is Cyber Dragon here, bringing you guys my very first what if actually. So, before I begin, why I'm doing what if videos? Well, I've been watching what if videos for a while now of mainly My Hero and thought, this seems pretty fun, I want to try it out, so yeah. And this what if was specifically inspired by a YouTuber called thatguyxii. He actually does pretty good content, and I suggest you go visit him. So yeah, and this is somewhat my thank you to him for inspiring me to do this, and hope he continues the other what ifs he has made so far. So yeah, and this is clearly inspired, what if Izuku Midoriya was Sub-Zero. So I am somewhat borrowing that type of element from him, because I know there's some other YouTubers who have done something similar to this. Maybe if he has both Scorpion and Sub-Zero's powers, but I'm probably going to focus on the Sub-Zero aspect of this, because I've seen other people who've done that. So I'm taking a quick drink here. But yeah. So, without further ado, let's start this off. Now, we go to the day Izuku was being born, but he actually will be born with a twin sister. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing that? Well, I kind of thought of this idea later in the day. I was planning on recording this video anyways, but I never thought about this idea at first. So I'm going to implement it more. But yeah, before that, I'm going to talk about their parents' quirks. Inko's quirk is much powerful than in canon, and slightly different. Instead of telekinesis, or actually it will be completely different. Instead of telekinesis, it will be water manipulation. As in, she can only manipulate small, water particles, but can do great things with them. As in, levitate items towards her, or just, making water, controlling the temperature of the water slightly, to make it warmer or colder. And just to shoot a little bit of water pressure too. Not high density, because I don't think she thought of to be a hero. So, but Hasashi Midori will actually have, instead of fire breath, it will be frost breath. And then breathing out ice. So yeah. And Inko's hair is in green, it will be a dark blue. And Hasashi's will be solid black. But yeah, now it's the day of Izuku's and his sister birth. So Izuku was born first, so he will be the older brother. As they notice his eyes are white, the white you see right now in the pictures, you notice there's a tint of blue around the iris and the whatnot in the pupil. Yeah, it will look like that. So you can tell he's staring at you, but it's still somewhat hard from a distance to tell. But yeah, his hair will also be solid black, because I think that'll look pretty badass. And yeah, this is definitely not recommended for kids, so that's the first only warning, clearly. So, because I'm not marketing for kids, so there'll definitely be some maybe some 18 and up product, to say at least. I'm not going full on 18 and up, but still some swears here or there. So so yeah, but and his quirk only manifested apparently. They saw that his quirk is a mutation, but also an emitter. It can have emitter qualities, but it will be a mutation. And they call it Cryomancer. So I'm going to explain his powers real quick of Cryomancer, like, because I'm going to skip to canon at some point, but I'm going to do some background story as well beforehand, so I don't have to explain this later. So his powers, he will have all abilities of Sub-Zero. He can freeze the people fast. He will be able to make ice weapons, ice slides, and I'm actually giving him some extra powers as well. Like, he can control water, like, to an extent. Like, he can, as like his mother, he hasn't perfect control of water because he likes to use ice mostly, but he will use some water attacks, maybe here or there, to put out fires. But, yeah, like, he can make water balls, but as I said, he primarily uses ice. He can shape water to freeze it better. He can control other people's ice to an extent, too. He can, like, control the moisture of some people. And, but yeah, he will also have the ability to teleport. Like, he turns into water and sinks and then appears someone else and freezes to his regular self. That's actually something I got from thatguyxii again, so thank him for that. But yeah, now his sister, when she was born with light blue eyes and light blue hair. And her name will be, pause for dramatic effect, Frost. And yeah, I'm thinking about the Frost from Mortal Kombat, because I don't know why some people don't consider her to, like, when they do this type of video. Well, at least I haven't seen anyone who done that, so. But yeah, if I'm the first, then yeah. So, but otherwise, she will have similar abilities to Midoriya. She can't teleport and do water powers. She only has ice power. So, like, she can shoot ice spikes, make ice drills around her hand, like anything that Frost can do, she can do. I will look more into her powers, but yeah, she kind of like Sub-Zero, guess, a bit. And she's not gonna have the cybernetics portion of it. I might modify it at some point, like, of those abilities, so that she doesn't need cybernetics. But I might turn her into a cyborg later, cause yeah, I don't know why. But yeah, so as soon as they both were born, their quirks were with them at birth. So Hasashi and Inko had to kind of deal with that a bit. But once they get to the age of comprehending what's going on, Inko and Hasashi told them both, like, your quirks are very strong and powerful, and you need to learn how to control it. And I'm gonna say Midoriya is definitely respectful towards that, because he realizes his power is strong and can harm people if he's not treating it right. Because obviously he has control of all ice, including liquid nitrogen and dry ice. The two coldest ices I can think of. That and just blue ice, which, yeah, but he is thinking, like, he will grow to be respectful, cool-headed, and smart, like Sub-Zero. He will grow up to be kind of like Sub-Zero, I guess you might say, but mixed with Mizuku's personality a bit, too. Like a mixture of the two. But Frost, on the other hand, will grow up like Bakugo, thinking her quirk is amazing and that she's the strongest. Even though she knows, like, her brother has a bit of a more better itch quirk, she thinks, like, yeah, someday I will be stronger than him and be the #1 hero, and I'll beat everyone, especially All Might. As she has that personality and mindset. because I want to make Bakugo more respectful in this one. Like, I know some has done something similar to that, like made him more of a nicer person. This one will have that one, but yeah, you will see where I'm gonna go with that. So now it's like a time skip to when they are at preschool. Everyone, like, at the time started to manifest their quirks. Some kids, but Bakugo has not yet. As now, as the teacher says, "Children, we have 2 new students who are joining us today." She is signaling for Izuku and Frost to come in. Frost comes in first because she thinks she's better than Izuku. Which Izuku then came in. And then instantly the room kind of became colder. Like, colder. And everyone noticed that. And noticing Midoriya's eyes. They are wondering, is that a part of his quirk? Or do they already have their quirks? As Frost introduced herself first, being cocky and wanting to be first in everything before Midoriya. Like, trying to beat him at sports and whatnot, but Midoriya usually wins on that aspect. So she starts to introduce herself. Like, "Hello there. My name is," well, I actually don't really know what to call her per se, like, because Frost will be more her alias, or a hero name, because I'm not sure if I'm going to make her a full-on hero, or something like that, because I'm spilling the beans already for that, but, yeah, so, you'll see what I'm going to do, but, yeah. If any of you guys can give me a name for her, like something Midoriya, like first name like Iski or something like that, then yeah, that would be great. But for now, I'm just gonna keep calling her Frost. So yeah, but so my name is Frost Midoriya, and my quirk is Ice. As she shoots 2 ice spikes out of her hand, trying to impress everyone there. As a lot of them are. Bakugo's seeing this too. And then Midoriya went, like, after her. The kids wanted to ask questions, but the teacher said, "Hold your questions before, like, until Midoriya comes up." Then Midoriya said, "Hello there, I'm Izuku Midoriya. And my quirk is Cryomancer." As he doesn't really do anything. The kids were expecting him to do something because they saw how his sister was being showy and like trying to insert herself as superior, but they were kind of surprised he didn't. Bakugo noticed that. And then they started to ask, "So, can you show us what your quirk does real quick?" Like, he said, "Very well then," as he makes an ice ball appear out of his hands. As they were expecting something bigger, but then Izuku said, "I do only like to show off, so I'm sorry if this is not what you were suspecting. But my quirk can be very dangerous, and I'm starting to get more of a mastery on it." As Frost is still trying to master her quirk as well, she's just more slow at it compared to Izuku. So yeah, which Bakugo notices immediately, and wondering, how are they so similar in quirks but so different in personality? As after the introductions, they all go on to do their own thing. Midoriya making friends by being respectful to them, while Frost, on the other hand, is just like saying "you all beneath me" and that type of stuff, and she only choosing some of the lackeys like Bakugo did, seeing that they're more or less the strongest kids other than her to be worthy enough to follow along with her. As Bakugo noticed that, he goes up to Midoriya and asking, so how come you don't show off your quirk? As Midoriya said, well, if I show off my quirk, people might think I'm an uptight type person and just think I'm better than them. But I don't want them to have that impression of me. I believe first impressions are everything, and that I want to be respectful towards everyone, no matter if they have a quirk or quirkless in general, or appearances. Bakugo is seeing the two differences between the two, as Midoriya, is making more friends and getting respect from all the peers around him, and even all the teachers. While Frost, on the other hand, is making everyone want to stay away from her. Sorry about that. I'm getting a bit of dry throat. As Bakugo sees that Frost is not really getting any friends or any respect, instead trying to force people to respect her and praise her for showing off her quirk, which some kids do, but other kids just blatantly don't like her. As Bakugo decides he wanted to be more like Midoriya. Like, at first he's like, someday when I get my quirk, I want to show it off and be, like, praised. But now seeing the difference between the two, he decided to instead be more like Midoriya instead. Respectful and, like, stuff. Even though he was more athletic in some areas to other kids, but now after Midoriya came up and showed he's more athletic and he can be respected, he decided to be more humble. And yeah, this is how I'm doing it. I know some people might not like it, but we have Frost for that aspect too, so. And you will see what I will do with her sooner or later. But now, it is a couple weeks, I'm going to say, since her that day, as Bakugo finally got his quirk. And Frost said to him, so you finally manifest your quirk. And it looks like it's not very strong either, compared to my quirk. So you're definitely still beneath me, even with an explosion quirk. Very villainous-like. As Bakugo is upset at this statement, and then Midoriya comes, like, and defends Bakugo, is telling Frost, Frost, you know that our quirks can be very dangerous too, and somewhat villain-like. But you me are wanting to be heroes to save people. As Midoriya thinking that's why she wants to be a hero somewhat, trying to be oblivious to deny any accusation that she just wanted to do this to be famous and to show that she's better than everyone. But obviously not the case for Frost. As Frost is wondering, why are you defending for this, for him? You should be on my side. You are my brother, and such, Yumi are definitely stronger than everyone, even if I'm clearly stronger. As she thinks she is stronger than him, as Midoriya says to Frost, says, reason why I'm defending him is because that's what a hero should do. Says, heroes should defend those who are being attacked by the people. And Bakugo has done nothing to you, so I don't see why you have been acting like this. Bakugo is surprised and happy that Midoriya is standing up for him. Frost scuffles off and mad at his own brother. Bakugo asks, why did you defend me, and stuff like that. As Midoriya said, because I see great potential of you becoming a hero, and I hate to see that potential wasted if what my sister said to you about your quirk. As Bakugo is really happy about this, and they actually became great friends after that, and even great rivals. As such, they train together a lot too. Frost trains too, but she doesn't train like how Midoriya does. She doesn't think like she needs to train her body. She wants to train her quirk. As Midoriya tells Bakugo that we should train both body, mind, and quirk. As Bakugo agrees, they do. They train just about every day together, whenever they can. They have a bit of a rivalry and they spar a lot. Bakugo finds a fighting style primarily involving palm strikes, which Midoriya suggested to find that type of fighting style. And Bakugo is way stronger than in canon because he's training with Midoriya, while Midoriya is still clearly stronger. Like, beyond that, like, if I had to go in order of who's strongest between Frost, Bakugo, and Midoriya, or Izuku would be number 1, and Bakugo and Frost would tie somewhat. Because Frost does somewhat also take martial arts. She doesn't work out like they do, but she's, like, arrogant enough not to think that Bakugo is stronger than her. Her. So... So yeah, now is the day of canon. Midoriya and Bakugo's friendship is closer, while Midoriya and Zuko's and Frost's relationship keeps splintering further and further apart. As now the teacher comes in and saying, "Alright, students, time for the work apprehension, like whatever the test like he was about to do." Like, I'm gonna say, I'm not really sure, but then he said, "Who am I kidding?" The teacher's like, "Who am I kidding? I know you all want to be heroes." God damn it. As everyone started to show off their quirk, except for Midoriya and Bakugo. Frost somewhat lets out a little bit of an ice shard out of her hand and fires it at one of the papers as he threw it. As she said, "Yeah, I'm going to UA to be the next number 1, because UA is the only place that says winners like me should go." As the teacher said, "Well, you're not as smart as your brother and Bakugo there, but I can see you definitely going to UA, which, by the way, you two wanted to go to UA as well, right?" As Frost looks behind her and sees Bakugo and Midoriya sitting next to each other, being good friends, whatnot, and everyone thinks like, yeah, they definitely have more of a chance than any of us can go into UA. As Frost is hearing that, she is mad. Like, but she can't really do anything at the moment because this is the last year. She doesn't want to mess up because she does bully other kids. Bakugo Midoriya defends those kids from her and her goons. As such, Midoriya and Bakugo have actually become more and more role models for all the students to be respectful, friendly towards others, even without quirks, with or without quirks, basically, and not judging. Even Midoriya even tutors a lot of kids there too. And then Bakugo, he's pretty smart. Like, he's second highest in the school. Frost is third. Because I'm gonna say Frost doesn't really study as much as they do. She studies, but she's not at the top of class, so. And as they said, yeah, we want Bakugo and Midoriya, like, yeah, we want to go into UA. And so yeah. Now is the end of the day. Frost left, like, ahead of Midoriya, and Bakugo and Midoriya are talking. Bakugo said, "Look, I think Yumi should train separately for the next 10 months. Yumi already do that somewhat now and again, but I think for this period, I want to get stronger, and I don't want to show you all my new moves I'm going to be working on. As Midoriya agrees to that, and he even thought the same thing, as Bakugo asks, what happened to Frost? I don't really see her. As Midoriya said, she's mad and wanted to go on her own. So I let her go on her own and planning on taking a different route. As Bakugo said, alright, I'll see you after the 10 months. As Midoriya saying, alright Bakugo. I might give them the nicknames, like Deku as a different meaning as like you can do it type vibe now. Or Frost might say Deku to instead of Izuku to his brother. But Bakugo might say it too, but differently, with a different meaning to it. As he might say, that's what I'm actually gonna do. Like Frost says defenseless Izuku as when she says Deku, but Bakugo says turn that strength into a weakness. Make that like a nickname or something. As Midoriya said, alrighty then I'll try to give you a nickname like Kachan. So yeah, I'm just gonna do something like that, but that's not gonna be his hero name. It's still like, so obviously Midoriya's hero name will be Sub-Zero. But yeah, as now Bakugo and Midoriya go separate ways. Midoriya heading underneath the bridge area, like tunnel, as he is upset of what Frost said during the earlier in class. I'm gonna say she does the speech like similar to Bakugo did in canon, but more so, which I forgot to mention, so sorry about that. Which he was upset with some ice is forming around the area. As such, the sludge villain tried to attack him, but he sensed that because water, like the sludge, is liquid form, but also because anytime someone steps on his ice or even touches it, he can feel where they are. Like the ice is always part of him, so he freezes the villain before he got attacked. Like he said, "Hey kid, I need your body, so come over here and let me take it." And then he just freezes him. Then All Might appears like, "Ha ha, have no fear. Why? Because I am here." And then he sees the area like it's frozen, and the floor isn't frozen, and Midoriya sees All Might, not geeking out like in canon, but like, oh, it's All Might, like having a more pepped up tone now. Like he's still cool, but he goes up to All Might and extends his hand and is trying to shake his hand. As then All Might, surprised by this, he shakes the young man's hand and notices he's pretty strong. Like he's getting a closer look at him and seeing his eye colors, like how it is in the picture, and he's pretty strong. Then All Might asks, "So, I see that you taking care of the villain well. What is your quirk exactly?" And Midoriya explains his quirk, and All Might is astounded, because he wouldn't think he would work out in general if he would had this powerful a quirk. So All Might asks him so then why do you work out if you have an ice-based quirk? And Midoriya said, well, if I just work on my quirk, then if I'm disabled, well, if my quirk is not working, then my body and skill wouldn't be anything. So I train my body too, just in case. As All Might is surprised by this answer, and now thinking maybe he could be my successor of my quirk. As then he asks, can I have your number? As Midoriya said, why? As he said, well, I'm thinking you might go to UA, if I'm not wrong, with a powerful quirk like this. And Midoriya assures him that he is going to UA. He said, well then, I would like to train you over the 10 months. So what would you say? As Midoriya said, yeah, alright, I will accept your offer, All Might. As really, All Might is thinking, like, maybe I should test him and see how strong his quirk is and his skill. As now, All Might is, well, I need to take the villain to custody now. As Midoriya, like, oh, alright, here, let me do it. As he absorbs all the ice around the area, except for the sludge villain, and he actually compresses the sludge villain into a ice ball. And as now, All Might is surprised by this, like he can not only shoot ice, but he can also absorb ice. As now he's more impressed and he's now on his top list of successors. Because he has been still looking for a successor for his quirk, obviously. And now Midoriya is picking up the ice ball and handing it to All Might. Like, there you go, All Might. The ice should keep him frozen for a couple of hours, so he shouldn't escape anytime soon. As All Might asking, how do you know that? Then Midoriya said, well, I have perfect control of my ice, and I froze him specifically for a couple of hours for you. So he shouldn't escape anytime soon. And now All Might is even somewhat more impressed by not only that, so now don't have to wait for the sludge villain escaping. He's definitely number one hero material, alright? As now he leaves with the sludge villain, giving Midoriya an autograph in return. Midoriya didn't really ask for it, but he accepted the offer of that too. Because he thought him being trained by All Might was plenty payment enough. But not only that, now All Might even wanting to give him an autograph for his work. So after that, Midoriya heads home. Frost eventually got there. Okay, back there, because I'm just saying she took a longer route to even do other stuff like training and whatnot. As Midoriya was thinking like that. And now you might be asking, well, why doesn't he teleport home instead? Well, because he respects the law too much not to do that. And he will break the law, break some rules in general, when he needs to. But yeah, he will still respect them no matter what. He will just bend them. But, yeah, so now, Izuku during dinner, he said that he got an autograph from All Might, and even showing it, Frost is even more jealous and angry at him. Not only that his brother got and meet All Might, but he also got an autograph, which she's wanting it, but she doesn't want to say that, as now she is even beyond more mad and pissed, and even splintering them further apart. As Midoriya just wants nothing more but to be friends with his sister, Frost wants nothing to do with Midoriya. So yeah, now they all head to bed, honestly. Midoriya doing his nightly exercises beforehand and just going to bed. As then the next day, All Might calls him and asks him to come to Dagobah Beach. Midoriya replies, yeah, sure, give me a moment. He gets dressed and heads there. But not seeing All Might in his regular form, in his true form, his skinny Might form. As Midoriya is very smart, as I said. He's not Nezu level smart, but he's pretty smart. As he goes up to the man, he's not thinking that's All Might, but he's not so sure either. Excuse me, but I'm looking for All Might. Have you seen him around? As then All Might saying, so you finally came. As then Midoriya realizing this is All Might. Wait, why are you looking like this, All Might? as he inquires, then All Might explaining his injury, as Midoriya is visibly upset and somewhat angry, as he doesn't really show those types of emotions, really. Only towards his sister when she does something bad. Even though he has a cool head and usually tries to stay calm and happy, he can get mad and upset at those types of actions. As Midoriya is saying, I'm sorry to hear that, All Might. And now I even have more respect for you. Considering that you are even fighting to stay the #1 hero and keeping it for this long, that shows that you are a really true and great hero. As he does, like, with his hands what he's doing right now and bows to him, to showing him even more respect. Because he wouldn't originally do that at first. But now, All Might is somewhat taken back by this and tells him, kid is alright. Says, many people don't know about my injury. Fact is, I only share it with people I truly trust. And Midoriya said, well then why did you tell me? You only just met me yesterday. As then All Might said, well, you seem to be very respectable, and I don't think you would be the type of person to brag and tell other people's secrets. And Midoriya said, well, thank you for thinking very highly of me, All Might. And then All Might said, well, then, so, I'm also wanting to ask you something myself now. And Midoriya said, alrighty then, so go ahead. As All Might said, I would like you to be my successor of my quirk. As Midoriya is confused and asks him, what do you mean by that? I don't think you can pass on quirks. As All Might explains, One for All is, and even after all that, All Might said, will you accept this offer? As Midoriya takes a moment to consider it, as he knows this is All Might's quirk. And he is honored to even be considered for it, but at the same time, he doesn't think he's deserving of it. He thinks that other heroes that could even benefit from it more than he could, and he says that too. As All Might said, that is also exactly why I think you should have it. For the fact is that you're not thinking you are deserving of it, shows that you are truly. As Midoriya said then, alrighty then, I will accept your power, All Might. As then, All Might said, good, but beforehand, I want to train you a bit to see what your quirks add right now in your body too. I know you're pretty muscular and might have some good fighting technique, but I would like to see it beforehand to compare and contrast. As he does blind so, and All Might even saying after all of that, Midoriya shows him almost all of his techniques. He doesn't show him everything though. And Midoriya is still hiding some other skills. A lot more other skills up his sleeves. His non-existent sleeves at the moment, but still. All Might said, alrighty then. So, and now he gives him a strand of his hair and said, eat this. As Midoriya is puzzled at first, then just went along with it, eating the hair. And then 6 minutes after, One for All appears. As then, All Might telling him to throw a punch, he does, and already knew to modify the level of power going through it. As All Might is impressed, he only knew that, and right now, he's not as, I'm going to say Midoriya is not as buff as Sub-Zero, but still has lean and built muscles. And he can use, I want to say, maybe 25% of One for All at this state. Maybe after the, 10 months of training, he can use 30 to 35. I'm not sure his level as he should have it. But now he also, All Might say, impressive, you already know how to modify the power. As Midoriya says, yeah, says, as you already know this, I don't really like to brag, but I am actually top of my class, but only one person behind me, and that is Katsuki Bakugo. One of my great friends, actually. As he thinks how him and Bakugo grew up and thought if he never actually met Bakugo, could he actually end up like his sister, being arrogant of his power, and not being the person who he is today. And now All Might is just now going to say, alrighty then, well, we have a lot of groundwork to go through, and you know what, I'm actually going to modify the one form power Midoriya can use right at the moment. Unless he can only use 10% right now. You know what, after the 10 months training, he can use 20 to 25%. I don't want him to be overpowered quite yet. 25% if, like, he pushes himself so hard. So yeah, after the 10 months training, he actually worked on some new techniques as well. But yeah, so, and he takes as Midoriya's walking, he doesn't see Bakugo or Frost. Frost left earlier than Midoriya, so she doesn't have to walk with her brother. So as Midoriya's walking, he's just thinking of why Frost would leave without him and what the tests would be like. As he is sorry, I just need to stop for a moment. My throat is killing me. Anyways, as he is walking, he's thinking of what the tests will be like and what the physical is going to be like. But without realizing it, he's using his quirk, freezing part of the ground, not like completely, but it's like, and after someone steps on it, it will make a crunching sound, and some ice particles are falling off his back. Ida is actually inside right now, not seeing this, but Umaraka, seeing this, goes up to Midoriya and taps him on the shoulder. As such, her fingers actually kind of form some frost, have some ice on it. Miss Midoriya snaps out of it and melts the ice around him that he created, and melting the ice around his Umaraka's fingers. God, my throat. As he said, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't really thinking. So, as he says this to Umaraka, as Umaraka is saying, oh, it's alright, and so it just looks like you were nervous about the test, and such. As Midoriya reassuring her, like, oh no, it's not that, it's just I was thinking on some stuff. But thank you for your concern. As he's introducing himself now, like, hi, I'm Izuku Midoriya. As he's extending his hand and wanting to shake Umaraka's, and Umaraka obliges him. Of course, not connecting all of her fingers onto his hand, so he doesn't float away. And she said, Ochaka Umaraka. As they both greet each other, and Midoriya noticed that she's not connecting all of her fingers, as he asks about that, like, why do you not use all your fingers to shake my hand? As she said, oh, it's because of my quirk, it's gravity manipulation. As he's intrigued about it, because it's still Izuku Midoriya, he's still intrigued about other quirks. But yeah, so the fact is now that she's explaining her quirk and saying it's not that useful, as Midoriya is saying, oh, nonsense, your quirk is definitely more useful than some I've seen. Not to mention, no quirk is truly useless. So it can be something great if you train it, and if you train yourself. And someday you can even be a great hero. Right now, I can see you can already be a great rescue hero if you so choose to. And she smiles on that fact and blushes a little. And she says, thanks. And if you're wondering, what's the ship for this one? I'm really debating on either Umaraka, maybe like Jiro, or even Momo. But I'm mostly grabbing towards like Umaraka mostly. So I'm just gonna keep it as that ship actually, so. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say it's Umaraka X Deku. So yeah, as now they are heading inside. And Midoriya takes the test, like the practical, and he passes, like he gets 100. He gets a perfect score, like out of everyone there and in the school's history. Nezu's impressed by this, and all the teachers are too, as no one has ever gotten this perfect score. As now, the President Mike is now explaining the physical exam, as Frost is somewhat mad at Midoriya, Deku actually finished first before her, as she thinks like, I should have finished first, cause I got here first and I'm better than him. Still kind of mortality. It's grown worse over the years, of course, and especially over the 10 months. Because she can tell he has gotten way stronger than he used to be. So yeah, as she is now freezing the room somewhat, forming ice particles around her, freezing the floor around her, the table the table and chairs she's sitting on. As now President Mike is still explaining the robots, the point system, like the 3 points, and Ida being Ida saying, doing the thing like, you're missing, like, the robot saying, like, 0 pointer, like, pointing that out, and then he points out Frost, like, and you miss. You have been freezing this room this entire time and even disrespecting, the equipment of it, like the chairs and table and whatnot. I ask you to please stop using your quirk like that. As then she stands up like, how about you make me 4 eyes? As she's now being more pissed and angry, and even making ice biting in her hand. And now Midoriya is wanting to defuse the situation, like, Frost, calm down. So you have been freezing the room, and I've been trying to moderate that freezing. As now she's even pissed that he's been even trying to control her temperature of the air. As she sits down and even more mad. As now, Ida's seeing that they know each other, but not only that he's actually been trying to control her quirk with his. Which he's a little upset about that fact, but at the same time he is somewhat thinking he is someone to be respected a little now, because he's wanting to make everyone more comfortable around the atmosphere. And Midoriya is now thinking like, ah, jeez, I need to apologize for her now. I know she won't, so I hope I can for her. And now, President Mike is explaining the 0 point and even thanking Midoriya for stopping the situation. Ida apologizes about the interruption. They all head outside now. Midoriya is thinking about if Ida would actually even talk to him and whatnot, because it's shown like they clearly know each other, and be respectful and try and see if he even would accept an apology on his sister's behalf. But not only that, but he's actually lit on some ice on the ground. As now Ida, seeing that, goes up to him, but Umaraka goes to him first, and Midoriya immediately stopped what he was doing and noticing Umaraka coming up, and said, Umaraka saying, "Are you okay? I noticed you kind of seem upset, as Ida is kind of not in an earshot of them, and Deku saying, "Yeah, so I'm just thinking like how my sister acted during the presentation of this. So she disrespected that one kid with the glasses and dark hair, and I was hoping to find him to apologize on my sister's behalf." And Ida hearing this, seeing that he's actually a respectful guy compared to his sister, and he's actually thinking of his brother as well, seeing how his brother is the oldest one, and kind of making that pattern towards him, like he's a respectful, big older brother. As Umuraka reassuring him, like, "Yeah, don't worry, sir. I'm pretty sure he will accept your apology on your sister's behalf. After all, sir, what I've seen so far, you're already a kind person." As Midori actually, Deku actually smiling at that, like, he's saying thanks. That actually helped me a lot. As he's even thinking, like, this girl is actually pretty cute too, now I'm thinking about it. Even though he never really was interested in any of the girls in his class, because all of the girls there at his school had a crush on him, but he wasn't oblivious to that. As Umuraka is now blushing a little, too, after saying that, as she said, "Well, I better head to the front now, so, and hope you're not nervous anymore about all that." He said, "I don't really think I can get nervous," because as she's blushing at that too, like, she thinks this guy is smooth, and she even eyeing him too, seeing he is muscular, because at first she didn't notice that, but now she's also noticing that too. As after she left, she is kind of having a little crush on him. Not completely yet, like she wasn't sure she had one yet, but after that, Ida came up behind him and said, "I heard what you were talking about," and then Ida said, like, "I accept your apology on her behalf, and I hope you and me can actually become friends. It seems like you're a very respectful man." As Midoriya is surprised that he actually heard all of this, and happy that he's even accepted his sister's apology on his behalf. As he said, "Thank you." He sends his hand saying, "Izuku Midoriya." As Ida takes his hand and shakes it and said, "Tenya Ida." As Midoriya is knowing a lot about heroes, even studying up on every other hero. Every low rank one too, like, "Oh, so you're the Genium's brother." As Ida's already surprised on that fact, is like, "How did you know that?" Midori then stating, "Well, I study up on heroes a lot, so I have to, like, know this type of stuff. Just in case if I need to work with any heroes in the future I'm not familiar with. I want to make sure I am, and even helping them with their fighting styles when we're in combat with each other against villains." As Ida's now impressed by that fact, too. As it said, so you're really respectful and intelligent at the same time about that aspect. So, I hope we can be friends, Ida states, as Midoriya said, "I hope so too." And now the test begins, after they stop talking. This is where I'm going to end it for now. I'm not sure how I want to continue it quite yet. Plus, my throat is actually getting pretty dried up, and I don't want to continue this long. I have school in the morning, so I'll try to continue it after I get home, but no promises. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you guys can actually come up with a name for Frost, like, instead of just me calling her Frost, like, whenever I have to introduce her to other people, so that she doesn't say her name is Frost, like, that's her hero, or other name for her, because, yeah. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video, and, yeah. Hope to see you guys next time.